Hey everybody, Jaws Jr. here for another in-shop adventure. It has been brought to my attention that some people would like to see a project. Some Facebook group postings have indicated that a video of this project is warranted. So I went ahead and agreed to do this filming. A lot of persuasive people are out there. So what are we looking at? We are looking at some rough Oregon Fire Opal. Oregon Fire Opal, well, what is that? Here's a larger piece of it. Collected down in Lake County from the Red October 2 claim. And the claim owner gave me approximately 10 gallons of material to sort through. This material is junk, in his opinion. He did not want to waste his time going through it. So in a conversation we had, he said, I'll give this to you. So I was down in the area and I picked up this material. And there's the buckets that he gave me. This is the stuff I've been going through. Been trying to go through here and using tools. See, there's a piece there, it's got some in it, but this here side over here is a very poor quality. But I've been using the tools to break this apart and get these usable pieces out. And as you can see, they're not very big. So I've been thinking, how am I going to tumble these? Because that's the whole point of this. So I've thought long and hard, how am I going to tumble this material? Came up with a solution. Normally you start your tumbling process with a more coarse grit, 60-90. I recently did a video of where I started with 36 grit, then went to the 46-70, and then the 60-90. As of right now, it is my belief that any one of those three grits will chew this stuff up and basically pulverize it and be nothing left. So that leaves me with the 120, 220 silicon carbide. And that's what I'm going to start off with. And let me explain why. As you're looking at this beautiful piece, I'm going to do that first. Because in my opinion, that will cause the least amount of damage to the opal material while still having a chance, and I'll use this big one as an example, to grind off this matrix layer. I do not know if that theory will work, but that's why we're here, and that's why I'm filming it, so everybody here who watches this will know. But see, that's the problem, is this stuff is hard. It cannot come off, unless, of course, you chip it off. And you can see where that piece there was chipped off. I don't want to do that. Let's grab a smaller piece here. Now, not all of this is very good material. That is by design, because what this is going to end up being is probably filler for some of the bigger pieces that I have. Trying to make these bigger pieces here completely shiny. And as you can see, the stuff here, how it's easily just fallen off. I mean, it won't take much for that to come off. But see, you also have to pay attention. This end here is highly fractured too, so I've got to try to take care with this. So in my simple mind, one of the best filler materials is the material itself. Now there might be some good polished pieces in here, They might be small. But you know, this stuff probably would have ended up alongside the road as gravel. So I'm not hurting anything. Yes, there's probably some people who facet this stuff that are just screaming, no, don't do that. In the claim owner's mind, this stuff was junk. That's why he gave it to me. So I'm going to stress that again. In the claim owner's mind, this stuff was junk. I'm just doing this on my spare time, the little bit that I have, to show that, hey, we might be able to do something cool with this stuff. So, enough jibber jabber. Let's get on to the nuts and bolts of this. So, I'm going to go ahead and use the Thumbler's Tumbler model AR1. This is my smallest tumbler I have. And my theory is, with it being small, is that the least amount of damage from tumbling. And as you can tell, this is pretty tightly packed in here. So I don't need to add any more filler material, because most of this stuff is already filler for itself. We're going to use somewhere around 1/4 cup. That container, that is 1/3 cup all the way full. So we're going to use 1/4 cup of this 120-220. Some of my white stuff that so many people want to know what it is, do a little research, you'll figure it out. And then water. There we go. A little bit more, not much. There we go. I'm happy with that. So this is approximately between 2/3 and 3/4 of the way full. Put the lid on it. We're going to roll it for, I know, my previous videos, I did not tell you how long my cycle was. But in this stuff, because I am not using my custom built rotary and I'm not using some of my bigger equipment, this is something that everybody else more would typically use. I'm going to roll this for 7 days and then do an analysis. So there you go, everybody. This is ready to get sealed up, put on the tumbler, and roll it for 7 days. Well, we had technical difficulties. The footage from the end of the 120-220 grit cycle is gone. Same with the footage of me preparing the Fire Opal for pre-polish. Apologize about that. It's very frustrating. That will not happen again. So, I went ahead and moved on from the medium grit to pre-polish. All of the outer material was ground off. There's really no major issues going on with it. And what I did is I used my Lotto tumbler, and I just followed the typical setup for pre-polish. Basically, half a teaspoon of the pre-polish with damp rocks and moved on. So that step will be identical to what's coming up in polish. So what we're doing here is we're going to empty this out. I'll pick out some of these to show you what they look like. And we'll set this aside. I haven't even rinsed these yet. But if you look at them, you'll see that almost all of that outside coating that I was trying to get off previously, it was off. and I added the ceramic media to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get these cleaned up more, get them ready to put in for polish and run, and I will show you what I do on that. But it's going to take a little bit of time to get these cleaned up, so let me go do that now. Okay, got them rinsed out, got them put in there, kind of an example of what's going on. They feel much better than what they did before they came out, so we're on the right track. So let me go through the procedures here for what I do with this here. Okay, it's very simple. I fill this with water. I'll take this, put it off camera. This is the lid that came with the Lotto tumblers originally. The problem is when you put them on there, they had a tendency of coming off. So I bought these. They fit on a lot better, a lot more snug, and they don't come off during the tumbling process. But with Lotto, what you do is you fill it up with water, then you drain it. Hence the holes. So I'll do this here, take it off camera over here, and drain it. It's drained. Knock all the stuff back inside. There we go. That is ready. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the magic. The magic to make these nice and shiny. Going to use aluminum oxide polish. Half a teaspoon. Then we're going to use about that much of some more white stuff. Put the lid on it and let it go for 2 days. So in recap, we rolled this in 120, 220 grit for roughly 7 days. Took it out, cleaned it very, very well. Spent a lot of time cleaning it, making sure it was right. Then I put it in the Prepolish barrel for the Lotto, where I ran that for 2.5 days. And now I'm going to run the polish for just under 2 days. And so next time we come back, we'll be looking at some shiny stuff. Time to clean up. So this has been going for 48 hours in polish, just a little bit less than 48 hours. And this side here is just a batch of my regular stuff that I had. I just wanted to run them both at the same time. So I'll walk you through my cleanup procedure. It's very simple. And looking at that, I could have had it a little bit fuller. Let me show you a little bit of this. There you go. I could have ran that a little bit fuller, but for what I'm trying to do here with this Fire Opal, I decided that was good enough. And you can see there's a nice cream built up all over everything. The action is good. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the progress I've made. Okay, so what we're going to do is a couple drops of Dawn. And then, might help to have this closed before I tip it. And then, cover the rocks in water. Yes, it will slow the action down, but there's going to be enough of action in here to clean everything. And I've noticed, though, from the pre-polish, it's going to take some water pressure as well to clean these up right. So when I show these to you, there still might be a little bit of polish in some of the cracks and divots, which what I'll do is I will just leave the stuff in water until I have the time to go through there and actually clean it out with a water pick. So there you go. That's my cleaning procedure. That sits there for 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to probably leave it in there for 30 minutes. And I'll do the other side. And then we'll put you guys back up on the table and we'll show you what this stuff looks like. Okay, the cleaning cycle is done. I'll go ahead and drain these out. This will get washed out a little bit later. Now let's do a quick rinse and a quick check to see what we have. And I was saying before that there might be some polish left in there. I don't see any. And I let this run in the cleaning cycle for actually 40 minutes. I was eating dinner. So this is looking really good. Okay, let's take some of these out and let's get them to dry. Get them dried. Okay, here is an example of one. Look at the shine on that. Here's another one. And it is nice and dry. Now you can see here where all the host material didn't come out of those holes there. That's fine. I was not expecting this to happen. I was expecting this type of result because I only used the medium grit to start. And if I would have used coarse grit on this larger one, I could have probably ground that nice and smooth. And again, it is dry. Okay, let's shine light on this. Boy, I don't think you can see that. Let me turn this down on the lower setting. There we go. It's the lowest setting for this light. I hope you can see that. There we go, that's better. Look at that. This one's still wet, so I got to go ahead and get it dried off a little bit better. These yellow rags came from Costco. I absolutely love them. Yeah, they get stained up, but they wash up and they work just as new with the stains on them. So, okay. dry this one here off. Make sure it's dry. Because that's the last thing I want somebody to do, is accuse me of showing wet rocks. That's happened before and I've had to prove them wrong. Oh, a little moisture on it, so let's go ahead and get this one dried off. So what do you think? Was it worth it? Do you think I'll be able to work on some of this bigger material? See, there's that other one right there. Think I'm going to be able to work on something like that? Or you think I'm wasting my time? And also too, here's more. I just didn't have a chance to, let's do this to it. I just didn't have a chance to get them all taken out. But like I said, most of this stuff, ooh, here's one here I want to look at. Sorry. It had a unique feature to it, I think it was a crack, internal crack. Put this down. See if we can get this to light up. There you go. Almost like a bell shape in there. That was cool. Glad I looked in there. So, I think this is a success, despite what I've been told by some people, that Oregon Fire Opal can be polished in a tumbler. That's one of my favorite pieces. Sorry, I'm going to drag you guys on for a little bit. Isn't that cool? Now on this piece here, let's pick on this one here. This backside here, I could have ran that on a flat lap and cleared it right up. I would have left this other opal right there, and this would have been fantastic. I'm happy with it as is, but still, there's ways to improve it. So there you go. Oregon Fire Opal. Taken out of Lake County off of the Red October 2 claim. Thank you, Jamie, for this opportunity. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to have an opportunity like this and learn something new. Come on, camera, focus. That one's not going to focus. There we go. Just remember, everyone's life is an adventure. Then there's mine, learning something new on tumbling Oregon Fire Opal and sharing it with all of you. And sorry for some of that lost footage, but that's okay. This makes up for it. This is the Adventures of Jaws Jr. Have a good one, everybody. See ya!